All right, everybody. I just wanted to get another quick DC update here today because of some of the comments on my video that I did earlier today. And the first thing I want to address is, well, there's some things I want you to know that I want you to be aware of that I'm going to talk about in this video. First and foremost, I'm going to talk about a couple things in regards to the writer strike and some of the doors that it opens. So you're going to want to stick around for this video. But first, I wanted to address some of the comments on the video. So the first thing that people come after me on is my comment on Ben Affleck coming back for Zack Snyder. How could I make that as a guarantee? I can make it as a guarantee because I know I've been following this stuff for years. And in fact, I pay very close attention to what actors and directors actually say. And I study this stuff. I've been doing it my entire life, okay? Ever since, well, not my entire life, but since high school. And when Ben Affleck first went on Jimmy Kimmel and said he was done, I told people he's not done, that he would more than likely be back. What he was referring to was The Batman, the film with Robert Pattinson. Basically, the studio stripped him of his script and his ability to make the movie he wanted to make with Deathstroke, okay? He always wanted to come back as Batman. His kids love Batman, but he had a horrible experience on Justice League. We've heard about that. He contemplated committing suicide. The bright spot in this was Zack Snyder's Justice League. If he didn't like what he did on Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League, he wouldn't have been there yesterday. He had no obligation to be there. He did that because he really likes Zack Snyder. And Zack, he would come back for Zack. I'm telling you right now, if Justice League 2 and 3 gets made, I guarantee you Ben Affleck will be back as Batman. I guarantee it. You can make any comments you want to make. It doesn't faze me. It's going to happen. If Zack gets to make his movies, Ben Affleck will be back as Batman. I guarantee it. Dead stop. It's going to happen, okay? Now, a lot of people are just saying, this is all speculation, just move on. No, we're not moving on, okay? There are those of us that want to see the story done. We deserve to see the story finished. Zack deserves to see his vision come to fruition. And Zack talked about in the present tense and future tense every time he talked about some of these things, like the Hall of Justice happening. He's talking about how awesome that's going to be when we do get to see it. He talked about Robin and the story that they still want to tell with that, and he's not revealing it because he hopes to be able to tell that story very soon. There are things happening that we're not seeing, okay? And we're not going to be privy to that until we get closer. Now, let's talk about this writer strike, okay? The writer strike actually opens up some doors here for a few things to happen. One of these things I think will happen. Now, the other one is going to be more of a thing that I wish would happen and hope it happens. So first, let's talk about the thing that should happen. Now, if anybody was around or remembers the strike back from 2007, that strike lasted a long time. It destroyed an entire season of TV. Everything came to a screeching halt, which brought on some interesting projects. In fact, there was a show that did air because it had already been written, but they didn't get to finish the season, was a show called Journeyman, which is an amazing show. If you've never seen Journeyman, it's a time travel show. It only had like 13 episodes, and then it was canceled. It was amazing, and I really wish they would have finished that storyline because it was pretty freaking awesome. So I would go say search that out if you can find it. I actually have copies of it that I found online somewhere, and that show was amazing. But it opens up for some doors. It opens up some doors for stuff that has been completed, that has been written. Not all of Hollywood's going on strike. It's just the Writers Guild. And so things can still move forward for projects that have been written and are ready to go. One of the things that they could release if this goes on too long is David Ayer's Suicide Squad. What a perfect time to release it. There's going to be no more scripted stuff going up on HBO Max. There's going to be no more new things going into theaters other than things that are already in production and almost finished. And so there is going to be a gap of time, however long this strike runs on for, where they're going to need to fill in some gaps. What a perfect time to release something that's already done. Get the Air Suicide Squad out there and keep people interested. Perfect time to release that. So the other project that I wish was released and hope gets done is Ben Affleck's Ben Affleck's Batman film. He talked a bit about this at the Full Circle event, and he talked about how it would be awesome to go up against a foe that there was really who was greater than Batman, and he sees no way out of it. And that's how he wanted that script done. He wanted something visceral that the hero could possibly not overcome. And that was the Deathstroke script. And I will tell you that people who have read that script universally have said it is the best Batman script that has ever been written for film. What a shame that film never got made. How awesome would it be for us to see something like that come into play simply because the writer's strike has happened? I'm very hopeful for things in the future that we may be able to get to see some things that were already written and pushed to the side. And, one of the other things I forgot to mention in my video earlier is they talked about this Superman film, this J.J. Abrams produced Superman film that James Gunn has come out, and he did. He came out and said that could very well come out and would be considered an Elseworlds story as a single standalone film. And that's where you would have a black Superman, either Val Zod or, forget the other one. There's Val Zod and Calvin Ellis. I think it's Calvin Ellis. But there's two different people that could be. And I think they were looking at using Val Zod, one of the other Earth's Superman, for that. So, and if they want to do that as an Elseworlds story, that's great. But what's ridiculous is you've already got Zack Snyder ready to do his stuff. They could easily come in and let him finish his stuff while this other stuff is on hold. It opens some doors for some things to happen. Will those things happen? I don't know. I'm giving you guys my thoughts on this, my feelings, and it would be pretty freaking cool if that happened. I do appreciate everybody who's engaging here on YouTube and on Twitter. This has been a fun journey, and we're just getting started here. And so I do appreciate everybody who's on board for this, and I'm not going anywhere. And if you've noticed, I'm starting to just ignore the haters. I'm not even going to spend the time to respond, but I've had to block and hide some people from the channel who were being just downright disgusting. And so that will continue if people come on and start, flinging names around, name calling, and just being nasty all the way around. I'm not going to tolerate that on my page. But if you're totally respectful and you don't agree, that's perfectly fine. That's great. It's the name calling that's going to get people banned. So, all right, again, I do appreciate all the support. I will have more videos this week for sure. I do plan on doing a Star Wars video coming up, possibly today or tomorrow. And there will be more DC stuff as it gets released. I do appreciate it. We'll see you on the next video.